Please speak to the importance of children learning about web design and coding technology and other 21st century skill sets.
I believe it is imperative that we educate our youth on coding technologies. We're moving into an almost entirely automated and digital society in which employers are seeking tech-savvy individuals. And not just individuals who can use a computer, but individuals that can also understand, read, and write the underlying principles. Employees within the STEM field are highly sought after and have the best chance of securing a recession-proof career. It's also important to note that there's a projected 2.4 million STEM jobs that will go unfulfilled by 2018 and over 5 million by 2020.
If I were to develop a web design or coding technology component, uh, what criteria would you suggest I use in order to effectively evaluate or assess it?
You would want to assess the efficiency of the material that you present, the relatability of that material with other components within the same curriculum, the degree of immersion within each project, and the value of the information that you present in regard to the core concept of that technology. Essentially, what I did was you have to pack in first foundational theory at the beginning of each curriculum or each concept that you're going to speak about, followed by visual and hands-on demonstrations, and then finally ending with a supporting project of some kind.
Of the many different languages we've briefly discussed, whether it's HTML, CSS, JavaScript, Python, jQuery, Ruby, Java, and PHP, which of these would you recommend that I begin my students with?
For the programming languages, that would be JavaScript, Python, jQuery, Ruby, Java, PHP. Those, I would start off with Python. Python is it's a language. It's super user friendly. Web development on its own is fairly easy to understand without any programming experience. So therefore, you can teach HTML and CSS without any prerequisites. But for the programming languages themselves, I would begin with Python because that's simply the easiest one to write and understand all the core concepts with.
What would you suggest I do in order to begin and establish a vertical ascension for the curriculum in order for the students to learn on a graduated pace that lends itself to them learning successfully?
Well, when creating your curriculum, you want to create projects that you'll be able to build on as the course progresses. So, for example, you could start with a very basic project of any kind in almost any language, and that project will most likely be able to be improved upon using more advanced techniques that the students eventually learn as the course progresses. And this would allow you to begin teaching the basics with any given project, and then later reformatting that project using the newly gained knowledge.
If you could please explain about the curriculum you developed for the digital arts experience, what does it consist of?
Essentially, all the curriculum, they consist of three components that I use on all of them. The first being theoretical lecture, the second being demonstrative exercises, and the third being hands-on projects. That could be successive and non-successive projects, and then finally ending with a final capstone project using everything that was covered within the course.
At how early of an age would you recommend that children begin to learn, uh, about these types of skills? How early should we begin teaching them?
I would say as early as 5, 6 years old. You're not going to be teaching them, like really extensive code technologies, but there are programs like Scratch or the Hour of Code or Lightbot. Those are all kind of, I don't want to say beginner or rudimentary programs, but they're programs that you can use to really gain a foundation at such an early age because it's mostly visually based, but they do still teach the core concepts. So you can start teaching a child as early as 5 or 6 years old. I've already begun with my daughter, and she's 5.
Please speak to the entrepreneurial value for students should they learn about and master these skill sets.
Well, anyone learning and mastering these skill sets has a much greater advantage of fulfilling an entrepreneurial role. For one, it allows for self-sufficiency within the digital world, and two, it eliminates the need for multidisciplinary dependencies that can easily hinder an entrepreneur's growth. So, for example, you might be an entrepreneur who's trying to build a company selling some sort of product. And if you have the funds and the network to maybe hire a developer or hire a designer, get your logos done, come up with your social media marketing campaigns, all these little things that a person within this field or that field would already have. But those are major, major benefits from being or having skills in this field.